What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some very important information involving Jerome Powell and his speech for tomorrow, what's going on with other factors involving the markets, what you should be watching for in the trust as we're seeing some new developments right here. But before I break down this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention two things. I'm personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Anyways, for SPY, I just want to call out that we have a very, very nice looking range that's developed right over here. We like to get rejected off this 550 area. This happened actually two times. And we like to bounce off 542. This also happened two times. So we have a range that's going to be very important to watch for. These are going to be your very, very important levels. And so far, SPY is holding up. It actually grabbed liquidity right here, and it actually bounced off the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. This is a sign that SPY might try to push a little bit higher tomorrow. So there's a very, very good chance that could be happening. However, there's a big however. Jerome Powell will be giving a speech, and I can't always predict everything that's going to happen accurately when he does start opening his mouth, because you never know what he's going to say, and sometimes there's a lot of manipulation because of it. So when is Jerome Powell giving his speech? It's going to be tomorrow being Tuesday, June 2nd, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jerome Powell will be opening his mouth. That's going to cause some volatility in the markets, in my opinion. So I don't truly know if Jerome Powell is going to cause the market to launch all the way back up and SPY starts to push for 550, or if we're about to get a massive rug pull. I don't truly know that unless we see which levels we end up breaking. That's why I'm going to talk about some levels later on in the video. But what I can tell you is that from a technical standpoint, SPY is holding up very, very well, and we're seeing buyers defend it. And there is a good chance we may try to push higher just based off technicals. Yes, technicals are not sufficient, but they do suggest that, and we'll see if Jerome Powell's speech and his words align with that move. On top of all of this, I just want to mention that at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 30 minutes after Jerome Powell starts his speech and 30 minutes after market open, we have the JOLTS job openings and job quits report coming out. That's going to be very important to understand the strength of our economy, how the jobs numbers are looking, and it's going to have a big effect on a lot of the Fed's policies, so I'll be paying very close attention to that. Now, just know for the week, we don't really have any earnings coming out. It's just very, very minor ones for Tuesday and Wednesday, nothing too crazy. That's because of the fact that we have the 4th of July, at least for this week. So what's going on for the week? Let me just give you guys a very important reminder. On Thursday, July 4th, it's going to be Independence Day here in the US. The stock market is going to be closed completely on Thursday. However, also notes that it's not just for Thursday where we're going to get either a close or an early close, but also on July 3rd. Okay, on Wednesday, the stock market is actually going to be closing at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be half a day of trading. So what this implies is that tomorrow is going to be the last full day of trading until Friday. Okay, so tomorrow, Tuesday, it's going to be a full day trading day. And then for Wednesday, the stock market closes early at 1 p.m. And then for Thursday, the market's going to be closed completely. And then Friday, the market opens again like normal. So I want everyone to remember that. Don't panic if the market closes early on Wednesday. Tomorrow is going to be the last full day of trading until we get to that half day on Wednesday. Now, for more data, just notes that right now, the fear and greed index is currently at neutral. We're in the middle now. We were a lot more in the fearful side. We're seeing buyers stepping in. Now we're becoming neutral. The market's just indecisive, kind of in the middle. That's why we're still right over here. Momentum is currently at extreme greed. This is currently above the 125 daily moving average, which is not bad whatsoever because momentum remains very strong as we're holding up above our key moving averages. On top of this, the puts to call option ratio right over here is still at extreme greed as we're seeing a lot more buyers stepping in, and greed is making up the majority of sentiment right now. This is very important because as greed is stepping in, it's still helping the market hold up, and we're still seeing a lot of buyers defending. And then volatility, the VIX is not really doing much. It's kind of stuck in the middle, very lackluster. We haven't really broken our key EMAs yet. So that's why I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So with that being said, guys, and without further ado, I'm now just going to be talking about the charts, break down how things are looking, and talk about some new levels. So what's happening with SPY? Like I said earlier, we're just range bound. We're going back and forth and back and forth. Here are the levels to watch for. If we get a push tomorrow, we want to see it break 545.8. If we break this resistance, this was the resistance from the day, I'm going to be looking for 547. That's where SPY rejected off of two times. If this breaks, we could be going all the way up towards the all-time high all over again if we break 547. Okay, that's the more bullish case. If we're bearish and Jerome Powell causes weakness, what you want to see is first off, this looks like a double top like structure right over here, and then you want to see this thing lose 542. If we lose 542, the neckline right over here, this yellow line, we're going to go all the way down to the 530s. 537 is likely going to be coming 538 around there if we lose 542. So I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. Looking at this double top leg structure, yes, that was favoring bears in the morning. That's why we got this little dip. I did call that out, but I told you to watch and see if we lose support or not, because we had this critical support to watch for, and the buyers have defended. So because the buyers have defended, and we actually bounced off our 50 EMA, and because we got a strong close, SPY actually closed in the green. This suggests to me that SPY might actually try to push up higher towards 547 tomorrow for a little bit of a push and then some consolidation. That is the most likely possibility. Now, that is solely based off technicals. Technicals are not going to be everything because, once again, Jerome Powell is going to be giving his speech. When the guy talks, a lot of people don't even want to day trade. They just want to sit on the sidelines because the market could go absolutely berserk. So who knows what he's going to cause? Always remember the bullish and bearish cases, but just know from a technical standpoint, the odds favor us kind of pushing a little bit higher, and we will see what Jerome Powell's speech causes. That's why it's going to be a very, very big day. For Tesla, we have another big runner for the day. We're up 6% on Tesla, closing at almost 210 a share. Absolutely incredible to see Tesla running like this. It's been running like crazy the last couple of weeks, and this is exactly what I predicted would happen for the end of June, approaching July, and also as we approach deliveries. Now, it's awesome to see this, but you have to remember something. The data is not out yet. We're approaching the data release tomorrow, and that's why Tesla's running. Tomorrow, I'd say about 30 minutes before the market opens, until market opens, like the period for when Tesla should be announcing their deliveries for the second quarter, which is going to give us all the information we need. And it's going to cause a very, very big move. Wall Street's expecting 440,000 around there. Some are saying 436,000. Other really, really credible analysts that I know are saying that, we might get 420,000 deliveries instead. Tesla's going to be kind of short. So who knows what's going to happen, okay? We have Jerome Powell giving a speech upon open and then Tesla announcing their numbers, which is going to cause a massive move. If the numbers are really good and we get a very, very positive reaction, Tesla is going all the way up to 230 in my opinion. If we get some bad looking numbers, if Tesla struggles, numbers are below expectations, and we get a negative reaction, Tesla could reject all the way down to 198. And if that fails us, we're going down to 190 for a massive rug pull. There's also a saying that goes, buy the rumors, sell the news. Remember that, buy the rumors, sell the news. That could be what's happening to Tesla as well. So you want to be open-minded. As a trader, one of the lessons you'll learn is that you can't predict everything and you shouldn't assume that you know things that you don't know. Meaning, we don't know what's going to happen with deliveries, so we shouldn't pretend we know what's going to happen. So that's why I'm not really playing this. I'm just waiting to see how the numbers will look, and then I will react, maybe scalp depending on that if I were to play this going into tomorrow. But honestly, guys, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a big day for Tesla, so I'm just going to wait and see. You guys could do whatever you want to do, but that is what my personal opinion happens to be. For Nvidia, we have a little flag that's forming here. I was talking about this downtrend that I'd be watching for at least on Nvidia moving forward. And as you guys can see, we've been respecting this very, very nicely. So looking at this, if we get a rejection here, we're going to be looking for a dip all the way back down to slowly push back down to 120 and try to bounce. But if we get a breakout thanks to Jerome Powell, we're going to go up to 127. So if we reject off 124, we're going back down to 120. If we break past 124, we're going to be looking for 127. Breaking that turns us more bullish. We'll be watching to see if we get a bullish breakout from this flag. I'm personally in the middle with Nvidia. We are on a downtrend. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. We're on a downtrend so far. So we'll have to see if that ends up continuing or not. But there could be a breakout coming. We could try to break this resistance. There's a good chance it may try to do that, but that's going to depend on the big guy, Jerome Powell, what this guy ends up saying. There's a downtrend, so assume this downtrend will continue unless we get the break thanks to Jerome Powell. That's what I'm saying, at least for the charts. For Bitcoin is looking more bullish in my personal opinion, making higher highs and higher lows. If we break past 64,000, I'll be looking for 64,650. I'll be watching to see if we get more upsides as we approach this imbalance. The odds do favor upsides, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. But overall, it's looking more bullish. For the QQQ, this is also looking a little bit more bullish to me. We're making higher highs and higher lows. We're also forming a nice cup and handle-like structure. From a technical standpoint, this looks like it wants to go up to at least 484. It does look more probable to me. If we were to turn bearish, you want to see it lose 477. If that fails us, we're going all the way down to this low at 473. What do I think is more likely? Well, obviously the upside's a little bit more likely, but I can't make any promises. It depends on what Jerome Powell says. Could Jerome Powell pump the markets and say things that are very optimistic for the economy? Maybe. Or could the guy cause a rug pull? We never know. The market could have a very nuanced reaction. But so far, the odds from a technical standpoint do look more bullish for the QQQ. So we will see how things go for tomorrow, but just be careful with Jerome Powell's speech. Aapl, from a technical standpoint, looks more bullish. You guys can see this nice accumulation that formed. We actually got a nice bounce off or very close to our 50 EMA. Watch 217.64. If we break this, look for 220. Overall, the chart is looking more bullish. Now, can I promise you it's going to push up? I can't promise that, but it's looking more favorable. It looks more probable looking at this chart. That's going to depend on the big guy, Jerome Powell, but the chart still favors the upside. If we end up losing, hypothetically, 216, we could be dipping down to 214. If we break 217, we're going up to 220. We favored 220, but just to be safe, we'll wait and see how things go. That's going to depend on Jerome Powell. I want to call out NIO because NIO broke their all-time high delivery record again for June. If we break 4.5, we're going to be looking for 4.7. If we reject here, we're going to be coming back down. It looks a little bit more bullish, but I'm going to be waiting to see because I know there's a lot of manipulation with this stock, but it does have some more upside potential. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is just break down technicals for the remainder stocks I have on my watch list, just for everyone out there. We will see how things go with Jerome Powell's speech, so I'll just continue from here. So for Palantir, I just wanted to say that we have a nice uptrend right over here. We look bullish, and I think this is easily going up to 26.2, if not the 26.5 area. This looks more bullish. I favor the upside. I think there's a very good chance this will continue to go higher. But just to be safe, we'll wait and see what reaction we end up getting. Depending on Jerome Powell's speech. But the odds do favor this going up to the 26 plus area. It looks more bullish to me. Supermicro is looking a little bit weak. As you guys can see, we got this little dip during the pre-market, and then we came back up only to continue to sink. So we have a head and shoulders like structure right over here. We're losing this support at the neckline. It looks to me like we're going to likely continue to dip, and we could be looking for 800 to be retested, and if not lower levels. So it looks more bearish from a technical standpoint. It looks like it's going to be dipping all the way down to 800, if not 780, to fill this imbalance, and the odds favor downside. Could Jerome Powell change things? If he causes this to break past 840, we could see another run, but as long as we're below 840, I do favor downside. I think we're going to be continuing to fall down to the low 800s, if not lower levels. Rivian, as you guys can see, it's holding up for now, kind of consolidating. Make sure you watch support at 13.25, and we have resistance very close to about 14.5. We're stuck in the middle going back and forth and back and forth, so I think there's a good chance this may continue to consolidate. We're trying to hold above our 20 EMA. That's what Rivian's trying to do. We will see if that ends up being the case or not, so watch and see if we get a bounce. Overall, we're holding up quite well. So we will see. If we get a bounce, we're going to be looking for a nice rally back up to the 15 plus area. It looks to me like it wants to bounce a bit, at least just temporarily to 15. But just to be safe, we'll have to wait and see for confirmation. For SoFi has a little bit of a bearish cross in the PPO that's forming. It looks a little bit more bearish to me. We had an inverse head and shoulders, but the move kind of failed. So I think this favors a move back down to 6.36. That's a more likely possibility. So this is looking a little bit more bearish to me. We will see if that ends up being the case. I'll be very, very patient nonetheless. But I'm going to be very patient with this one. Even though it looks more bearish, we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. I do favor downside a bit for that one. The IWM tried to bounce, only to reject back down to 201, so it's still looking kind of lackluster despite the potential that this stock has. I think that this ETF could continue to dip lower if we end up losing 200, so I think we might be testing 200 tomorrow. If we break past 201, we're going up to 202, and if that breaks, we're going up to 206. If we lose 201, we're going to be looking for a dip all the way down towards 199. I think the odds favor a dip. I think we might kind of pop and drop and start dipping lower, so I'll be watching to see if that ends up being the case. For AMD to me has a nice double top leg structure. It looks a little bit more bearish, technically speaking. If we end up losing 156, we're going all the way down to about 152. I favor the downside more. That's going to be dipping lower. Just to be safe, we'll see if Jerome Powell's speech causes this as well. But I just want to note there's likely going to be more downside from a technical standpoint. For ARM, we have the 4-hour 50 EMA 157 coming. If we lose 157.5, we're going to be dipping all the way down towards 153. If we bounce off this, we're going to be looking for 162. Then we could start to break out. This looks a little bit weaker. It looks like it might try to retest 157.5. If this fails, we're going to be looking for a bigger dip. So I see a big test coming for tomorrow. Will Jerome Powell cause that to dip? We'll have to wait and see. As Bitcoin is pushing, so is Coinbase. We're actually testing 235. If we lose 229, we're going to be looking for a dip back down to 225 then lower levels. And we have this gap to fill down to 223. But if we end up holding above 235, we're going to be looking for a push back up to 240 plus. This favors 240. So I think that the chart looks more bullish, but just to be safe, we will wait and see if Jerome Powell helps or not. For Amazon, the 4-hour has a nice bounce off our 20 EMA. If we break 198, we're going up to 200 all over again, approaching the highs. If we lose 195, I think we could be retesting the 193s, which is where our 20 EMA is going to land. So I'm kind of in the middle, but I do favor upside a little bit more for this chart. It does look like it wants to go higher, but just to be safe, we'll wait and see if Jerome Powell helps or not, if he causes a rug pull or not. For Meta, we're in the middle. We tried to rebound a bit only to kind of reject here. So watch 504. If we lose that, we're going all the way down to about 499. If we bounce off this, we're going up to about 508. Then we could go all the way up to about 510. I favor the downside a little bit more as a stronger possibility for Meta. So this looks a little bit weaker. But then this is also going to depend on Jerome Powell. So we'll just have to wait and see. Microsoft looks more bullish. I think that 458 is a very, very strong possibility, if not 460, as we're looking very strong. And this chart strongly favors upside to 460. So it looks more bullish, but wait and see what Jerome Powell causes. For Google, we're trying to hold our 20 EMA. Watch 184. If we hold above this, I'm going to be looking for a move back up to 186. If we lose that, we could be tipping back down towards 183. I favor the upside a little bit more. The 4-hour is going to be fine, so it does favor upside for now, and that's looking pretty good. For GameStop, not looking that great. It got a little bit of a rug pull today, but we ended up holding our 200 EMA. As long as we hold 23, I think we're going back up to 24.3, then 25. I know those levels are kind of basic, but that's what the chart's kind of showing right here based off our EMAs. So I'm favoring a little balance on GameStop, but we have to try to hold above 23 flat. That's our 200 EMA. If we lose that, we're going to be dipping lower, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. So I'll be watching this very carefully. But for now, guys, just be a little bit careful because GameStop is a little bit lackluster, at least compared to AMC, just temporarily. So we'll see if there are any shifts or not, at least moving forward. For the notorious AMC, AMC is also trying to push up higher. As you guys can see, it's on a nice uptrend. If we break past 5.2, we're going to go higher. If we reject here and we fail to hold 5, we're going to go down to about 4.79. So it depends on 5. If we reject off 5, we're going down to 4.79. If we hold 5, we could be pushing higher. I'm in the middle. We're at resistance, so we'll have to give this some time just to see what the reaction happens to be. And then just a few more. DJT is looking a little bit more bearish. Like I said in my video yesterday, we're kind of weak here. We could actually retest 31. If that fails us, we're going back down to about 29. Still looks kind of weak. The VIX kind of popped and then dropped back down today, looking kind of weak. We're still shuffling around the 12s to 11.5 area. So we're at a very, very strong support on the VIX, but it is possible we go a little bit lower towards like 11.5. So the VIX is not showing any signs of trying to break out just yet. So we'll just have to wait and see how it ends up reacting to support. It could still go lower, guys. So it's not really telling us much yet. There's not much of a breakout in either direction. So just wait and see. The 10-year is climbing a bit. We'll see if Jerome Powell causes this to get a rug pull or not. If you get a rug pull, this could be bullish for the markets. If not, it is what it is. The dollar is struggling to break past 106. If it rejects here and starts losing 105.69, we're going to be looking for a bigger tip. And that could lead to, once again, more upside for the markets. So once again, guys, the market is in a very, very critical place. We're seeing a lot of these buyers continuing to step in and defend it. And right now we're just range bound on SPY, going back and forth and back and forth. So I personally just want to remind you, I am not a fortune teller. I don't always know what the market will do. I can give you guys some levels and insights to give you guys better ideas of how to trade, how to look at the market, understand structures, especially supply and demand. But what I will tell you is that as a day trader, sometimes you have to be conscious of your uncertainty. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned in my years trading. Be very conscious of what you don't know. So, for example, we don't know what Jerome Powell is going to say tomorrow. He could cause, a big pump, a dump, and sometimes the market could dump even if Jerome Powell says very dovish things. If he says good things, sometimes the market pumps when Jerome Powell says bad things. So the market's very manipulated. All that's happening is the institutions are using him as an excuse to move liquidity around, screw people over, and do all kinds of things. That's what's really going on. That's why you have to be very, very careful when it comes to his words. That's why I'm a little bit ambiguous when it comes to my claims about the market. I'm saying that I don't know for sure what's going to happen because of his speech, but I am telling you what's very probable based off technicals right now. So once again, guys, a look at what I said is the most likely possibility based off technicals, my analysis of the markets and what's going on so far. But just know that I can't say anything with 100% certainty. We have to wait and see how things kind of develop. And we're going to be very, very patient nonetheless when it comes to the way the market's moving. All right. So technicals do show a lot of upside potential for the markets, but we will see what Jerome Powell says tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And once again, for Tesla, It's a monster pumping like crazy approaching deliveries. But tomorrow morning when deliveries come out, either before the market open, maybe a little bit after, sometimes they're a little bit late. But it doesn't matter. It's going to cause a very, very big move nonetheless. It will be coming out tomorrow in the daytime, and get ready for that. So we will see if Tesla gets a big rug pull or not. I'm going to be very patient as well, and I'm going to be kind of reactive. So we'll see how it goes. With that being said, I want to say I really appreciate every single one of you guys for listening. Have an absolutely incredible rest of the day, and I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow in the morning before the market opens. Thank you so much for listening, and peace out.